Greetings, denizens of the internet. Have you ever, as a dungeon master, wanted to build your own world but struggled with that opening idea? How do I begin this story? Where can I get a good idea? Over my years as a dungeon master, I've struggled with acquiring engaging and believable abstraction. A way to pull my players into the story and make them engage. Since then, I've come up with a profusion of ideas. So many ideas, in fact, that I can't use them all. So I figured, why not share them with you?
Oh yeah!
Starting with this one. If you like it, or if you think there's a small chance that you might possibly like it, hey, feel free to click the like and subscribe button. You can always undo it later. Don't undo it later. No pressure. Story idea coming up right after the medieval tomfoolery. My name is Brian Carey, and I am the Savvy Barbarian. Like so many Dungeons & Dragons tales, this one starts out in a tavern. Why do we start off in a tavern? Let's explore that real quick. The main reason is because we need a public place to let the characters get a chance to get to know each other. Even if you're playing with a group of friends and we all know each other very well, that doesn't mean that we know the characters that each player has made. So I might be good friends with my buddy sitting across the table, but he's made a wizard and I don't know what the background of that wizard is. I may have made a barbarian. He has no idea. No, he knew I was going to make a barbarian. I'm just kidding. So this is a great place for those introductions to start to happen. Maybe the waitress comes over and says hello and says, "My, you look like a strong one. What's your story?" And she starts to elicit conversation between the players. This gives them a chance to go through those flaws, personality traits, backgrounds, and ideals. I'll leave a link for a video where I talk about that down in the trumpery. This gives those players a chance to talk about their character, to start to bring to the table the character that they're going to play in the game. A tavern is also a great place to launch some of the initial quests for the early characters. You may just have a billboard full of wanted posters that the adventurers could go hunt down some creatures in the woods. You may have a bartender who starts to cry into his beer, starts to tell about his story. There's all kinds of ways for the players to interact with the public and to begin those plot hooks. The reason starting your Dungeons & Dragons campaign in a tavern has stood the test of time is because it's very convenient to the Dungeon Master. It allows the players to come into the public, meet some of the NPCs, and start to discover those quests and those plot hooks that the Dungeon Master has set up. Once the introductions are over, it's time to bait the hook. The players look over into a dark corner, and they see an armor-clad paladin. He is obviously lawful and good. He's wearing shining metal armor, a tabard containing the crest of the church blazoned across his chest. But he's sitting with someone, and it's a very cozy setting.
Oh yeah!
Who is he over there holding hands with? Somebody he's giggling with and snuggling with. Eventually the players notice that this woman's eyes flash red, the telltale sign of a vampire. What is a lawful good paladin, a champion of the church, doing, snuggling and talking and holding hands with a vampire? But before the players can ask any questions, the vampire seems to notice something that you don't notice. She looks over at the doors. Suddenly her body dissolves into black smoke and wisps and floats out the window. At this point, the paladin makes brief eye contact with the players. But he doesn't hold that gaze for very long. A tear runs down his face and he appears crushed. Your players will no doubt rush over and say, "What's wrong? What was that? Was that a vampire?" They won't have any idea what's going on. And the paladin will begin his speech. "My name is Goodwin Gustav, and I am a paladin, sworn to protect the church. What you just saw was my fiancée, Rosalind. But she's not the woman I became engaged to. My heart was knit with hers, but now she's something else, and there's nothing I can do about it. Your players will probably sense a quest coming on, and Godwin will give them one. My fiancée Rosalind said that the encroaching vampires are going to win, and she wants to be on the winning team. She wants me to join her, but I can't. I must fight for good. I must fight for right. But my heart is now knit to hers, and every time she takes another life, I feel that more of her soul is being chipped away. What little is left of her will soon be gone, and I feel my own heart is being stripped from me as well. Seek her out. You must do what I cannot. But just then, guards burst into the Dancing Dagger Tavern. One of them proclaims, "My name is Lieutenant Farshield. This tavern is now closed. I want each of you to go home. It's no longer safe for you here. Goblins have broken into the city repertory and have killed everyone in the treasury. It's not safe. Goblins may still be in the city. Go home and bar your doors." The bartender looks surprised. Godwin looks shocked as he glances toward the window where Rosalind recently disappeared. The players were pretty sure they were about to get a quest to slay a vampire from the Paladin, but now they're not entirely sure what they're going to do. They've got some choices in front of them. The players may follow Godwin Gustav's plea and hunt down Rosalind. If they choose this path, he will give them a secret way out of the city known only to the Paladins, through the back of the church. There they will slip out into the wild, follow a path, and eventually they will come to a crypt, which is Rosalind's lair. Godwin will, of course, refuse to go with them because he is too soft-hearted to kill his immortal beloved. On the other hand, the players may want to question Lieutenant Farshield and find out what the guards know about the goblin invasion. If they do this, Farshield reveals that the goblins have only broken in and stolen one artifact from the repertory, the Sunstone, and no other valuables, although they have killed many humans. The Sunstone is a recently recovered relic required by the court wizard. The wizard, of course, is searching for ways to stop the vampire incursion. On the other hand, the players may actually choose to go seek out the court wizard and find out what he knows about the goblin invasion and the war with the vampires. As the party journeys to the court wizard, they encounter several goblin skirmishes on the way. As they journey to the city keep to visit the wizard, they will encounter several goblins along the way. They'll have combat encounters. The goblins will drop some small hints and give them some information about the goblin war, and the players will learn more of the plot. The wizard turns out to be a female dark elf named Falar Moonfeather. She seems most friendly and very helpful, and immediately agrees to see the adventurers. She will reveal to them that the Sunstone, which the goblins have stolen, is actually a map which will lead them, they hope, to a staff of great power capable of curing sanguinus mortis, the disease that causes vampirism. After their conversation, Falar Moonfeather will agree to open a portal for the players. This will take them deep into the heart of the goblins' lands, where they will begin their quest to recover the Sunstone. Before they leave, she gives them a staff of her own. It's a large staff with a stone ram's head at the top. She claims this will help them as a weapon to fight the goblins when they go through to the other side. If the players attempt to follow Rosalind the vampire, they do eventually find the crypt. They fight their way through, discovering a large labyrinth underneath. Many combats ensue. Some treasure is found, some equipment upgrades are made. When they reach the bottom of the crypt, instead of finding Rosalind as they expect, what they find instead is the Paladin, Godwin Gustav. He is a vampire thrall, and he has laid a trap for them. If you've got low-level players at this point, don't play Godwin Gustav as a full-on vampire. It's a challenge rating 13 creature with incredible combat abilities and legendary actions. Legendary actions means that those monsters can take actions at the end of your turn, not only on their own turn, and they can do incredible damage, including necrotic damage, where they can bite you, take health away from the players, and add it to their own hit points. It's an ugly monster to fight. So make sure you tune that monster down a little bit. I've got a video to explain how to do that down here in the trumpery. Feel free to watch that if you want to tune up your monsters and make it appropriate for the challenge rating of your players. As your players battle Godwin Gustav, in his final breath, drops one little clue. He says, "You cannot defeat Rosalind in the night." And then, as if the scales of evil have left him, you see him for himself for just one moment, and he says, "Please, protect her from the Sunstone." And he falls to his death, fading into a pile of ash. On the other hand, if the players decide to hunt down goblins at the city at the behest of Lieutenant Farshield, they will have a number of goblin combats throughout the city. They will also find goblins hiding in certain places, who will reveal to them additional clues. They will learn more of the plot, which is that the vampires are enslaving the goblins, so in an effort to stop the vampire enslavement, the goblins have decided to kill all the humans. You see, the vampires can feed off the humans, they just can't feed off the goblins. So the goblins figure out that if they kill all the humans off, they can starve the vampires out. Congratulations, humans. You're about to become an endangered species. If the players had decided to talk to Falar Moonfeather, take the ram's head staff, and go through the portal, they will find themselves completely surrounded when they step through to the other side. They're in the heart of the goblin city Grimgoron. The portal immediately closes and there's no way back. It takes very little time for the players to realize they've been sent on a suicide mission. One of the players will probably attempt to use the staff, and as soon as they do, the ram's head on the staff begins to pulsate red. Slowly at first, but it picks up speed, and as it does, green gas starts to flow out of the eyes of the ram's head. It won't take the players long to realize that this is a countdown before the staff's head detonates and takes everything out with them. Once the players realize this is a bomb designed to take out as many goblins as possible, it's time for a skill challenge to see if the players make it out in time or if they too succumb to the explosion sent by the otherwise admirable wizard. How does the story go from here? Well, only you, as the Dungeon Master, know for sure. Your players are hooked, and your story will take them where no one else can go. Hope you enjoyed today's campaign starter. Hope it gave you some great ideas to spark your own adventure and create your own world. And now it is time for that noble quest. Your job? Click the like button down below the video. But your task is not yet complete. Next, you must click the subscribe button and the little bell icon. Once you click all three of those things, your task is complete. You may consider yourself leveled up. If you would like to support this channel, I'll keep making more of these campaign starters. I literally have hundreds of these things that I can give to you at any time. If you want to help my channel continue to grow and prosper, please tell people, give us a thumbs up, give us a like. If you want to support the channel, I've got a couple of books down here. I've written Dungeons & Dragons inspired novels. Hopefully you'll like those. They're available at Amazon and iBooks and Barnes & Noble and all the places where books are sold. The link there at briancarybooks.com will give you a link to all the places where that's sold. I don't have a Patreon at this point, so the only way that I can ask you to support the channel is by picking up a copy of those books, and maybe they'll give you some ideas for campaign starters as well. Happy adventuring. This is Brian Carey, reminding you to be a scholar and a barbarian.